Good day, everyone. My name is Shamindra Ruben, and I'm from Code&Kopi. Today, I'm presenting to you CATS, Context-Based Application Tracking System. Let me present to you the problem statement. So the problem statement in today's world is in the hiring places where we claim to have credential-based hiring. However, we put too much blind trust in self-reported resumes. Though there are many corporates that do use systems, these systems merely use keywords for filtering and they do not actually understand the context. So technically speaking, someone who just has a lot of keywords on their resume can pass while not actually having the evidence or the skills to actually back up those claims. So how are we going to change this? In a new world, we will have skill-first hiring, and this will be based on evidence-based verification, and it will be made a decision through contextual reasoning. All right, so let's see the traditional way. In a traditional way, let's say you upload your resume, it scans for keywords, and if the keyword is not found, you might fail your application, even though you do have skills, you do have experience, but it just does not translate well to that system. However, in CATS, we take it a step further. We understand what is on your resume, we scan it, and we cross-check it. We check for evidence, we check for events, we check for projects. And this helps us make a decision based on reasoning, based on context. And that's how we find better talents and not just claimed skills. Let's take a look at what is wrong with today's funnel of traditional hiring. Let's say we have 500 applicants. This system that I mentioned before, it drops 400 applicants just by keyword parsing. And this is where most people fail despite having the skills and experience. And then we have manual screening, and that leaves us with 100 applicants. And this takes a long time. People have to manually sift through which might match. And even then, it's just a guessing game. And then we go through interviews. That leaves us with 10 applicants. And then we have to make a decision to hire one. And sometimes this can be a costly false positive because we did not anticipate the context or their previous experiences or skills without any evidence. So how does CAT fix this? So we eliminate all these previously mentioned errors by using AI. So in this case, we are building an AI-powered context-aware recruitment engine, which is CATS. What it does, it verifies, it evaluates, and it ranks candidates through multi-source evidence and multi-step reasoning. And this will help us verify these candidates and make sure that we are hiring people based on merits, which is efficient and fair. Let me take you through how CATS work. So this is basically how it thinks. So we have the central piece, which is the orchestrator. The orchestrator is basically the brain, which organizes the agents. It is flanked by these agents. We have the JSONer, which takes all the raw information in a resume and turns it into a readable format for the other agents. We have the librarian. The librarian takes the formatted information from the JSONer. It also takes the information that's been scraped in the internet from LinkedIn, from GitHubs. It cross-compares. It verifies the claim skills, and it sends it to the judge. The judge takes a look and decides a score based on how valid the evidence is towards the skill, and it sends it to the critic. So the critic takes all of this and decides how to create questions, because at the interview, an employer does not know the candidate, and questions are important. In this case, these questions are tailor-made, reasoning-backed interview prep. So what it does is it takes the experience that they claim, it takes the skills that they claim, it gives them a situation for employers to verify, and so that they know what they're looking for. And then we have the secretary, which basically wraps it all up and gives it to the employer in a simple, easy to understand format. All right, so this is a little bit more in depth on how it works. Let's say the resume claims to be a cybersecurity expert, but then they do not have the repos in GitHub. There's no activity. So their claim is rejected. Let's say a person claims to be a penetration tester, and through scraping, we find that they do have certs, they do have GitHub commits, and they have joined in projects such as CTF Solver. So this is how we verify the skills. So basically what CATS does is it takes all this raw data from the resume, portfolios, GitHub, LinkedIn, and then it runs it through its system, through its agent, and gives it as an output that is easy to understand for the employers. Let's take a look at this example. So we have Ahmad, we have Darren. So you can see Ahmad's skills, his claimed skills, are verified through the evidence trace, while Darren's skills are not. And so the system notes that there is a high contextual match for Ahmad. Therefore, he gets a higher score and a higher rank. And here's how the question works. So based on his experience, based on his claimed skills, based on what he has posted on GitHub, LinkedIn, we present him with questions. So in this case, you can see it has mentioned his CTF experience. It's also generated the reason why should we ask this question, because the candidate claims OSCP. So it is testing a practical application over theoretical knowledge. So in today's world, manual screening results to keyword sorting. Legacy ATS results to keyword sorting. There is no reasoning here. If we do use any advanced reasoning agents such as black box AI, it's often opaque. There's no transparent process. We cannot see how it is doing this. But CATS, it is a reasoning agent, and at the same time, it's transparent. So employers know what they're looking for, and they're given context on what these employees have in their arsenal. The market we're targeting is a 3.5 billion word target globally. And in Malaysia alone, we have 200 to 500 employers who spend quite an amount monthly trying to invest in systems that can do screening or through promoting just to get the proper candidates who have for these high skill technical roles. CATS can fix this. How? So CATS, through skill-based shift, CATS verifies capabilities, not just paper credentials. And basically by using the agentic frontier, so organization want reasoning system, not just automation. And we are positive that ZAI's GLM-powered agent can deliver this through CAT system. This is the team. Meet my team leader, Prem, myself, Shamendra, Putri, Aisha, and Nazira. So basically, we form Code&Kopi. All right. So how do we plan to move forward from here on? So currently, we have our system online, which we will show in the demo shortly. And our next plan would obviously be to be scale and localization. And from there on, we move into enterprise integration. Our future plan in more detail would be trying to scale live LLM infrastructure to expand our scraping resilience. It will also be to invest in sales and marketing and become an aggressive go-to-market so that we can target companies to use CATS as a more efficient replacement for their existing systems. And of course, we will also invest in our own product development. For example, securing LinkedIn API partnerships and mobile expansion to make this a widely available platform for everyone. And that is all from us. Let's move to the demo. All right, so here's the demo for CATS. So first things first, let's launch the orchestrator. All right, so the application startup is complete. Right, so let's say an applicant applies here, they sign in, they look into a job they like, they apply, to which they upload their resume. Once that is done, we click submit. So it extracts the text, and you can see here the first agent is called, which is the JSON here. So the JSON here extracts the text from the PDFs and puts them in a JSON format, hence the name JSON here, which is easier to understand and easier to process by your orchestrator. Once that is done, we send it to the scraper. The scraper takes all the links necessary and scrapes info from their GitHub, from their LinkedIn, and from the portfolios that they sent, which will then be sent to librarian. So the librarian now has cross-references, which it will compare. Any skills claimed in the resume will be verified by whatever that is being extracted by the scraper. Once that's done, we'll move on to the critic. So the critic now has enough context for it to create scenario-based questions based on their experience or their skills. This will help employers to be able to ask questions that really test the skills and the limits of their employees and make sure that they employ the right ones. Once all of this is completed, everything is passed to the secretary, who cleans up the information and sends it in a much more readable format. And then it assigns a score. So right now, let's see what an employer would see from their side. Okay, so once we've entered, we see the most recent application, and we can view the rankings. So Prem ranks number 7 with a score of 32. Let's take a look at his profile. So over here, we have the profile explaining a little bit. We have the scores that's been assigned to categories, their strengths, their weaknesses, and also scenario-based questions to test their skills. We also have their location, their date of birth, their phone number, their work experience. So everything that is necessary, the claimed skills, extracurriculars, roles, communities. So everything an employer needs to probably make that decision on which employee is the best. That's all. Thank you.